Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine, and for today's video, I had these 3 extra doilies from a t-shirt project that I did during the winter time, where I put doilies down the sleeve of my long sleeve t-shirt. I'll pop a photo here on the screen. But I loved the idea. I loved this t-shirt so much in the winter that I decided to make a summer version with the 3 doilies that I had left over. So I bought a pack of 12 here locally, but I did find them on Amazon. So I'll drop the link if you want to check them out. They look vintage, but they're actually new, made in India. So they've been really fun to play with. So anyways, long story short, I made this t-shirt, and as I was doing the hemming, I used my favorite stitch on my serger called the Flatlock. And if you haven't used this stitch to do hemming of your knits, you are totally missing out. So I wanted to just make sure that I share this really cool technique. It's literally my favorite way to hem t-shirts or really any knits. So the Flatlock stitch, this is what it looks like on the white. So it's entirely done with your serger. And one of the reasons why I love it is it stretches. So this is the front, and then this is the back. So you just have a flat serger stitch. So I did one on a pink sample so you could see it a little bit better. So this is the front. So you get kind of this almost like a cover stitch effect that is, slightly decorative. This fabric doesn't stretch all that much, but this stitch will stretch a lot. And then this is the way the back looks. So all your raw edges are encased with the serger stitch, and then the back lays nearly entirely flat, just a tiny bit raised, and then the flat, you have this little decorative stitch. So this part is what it looks like when you first serge it. And then you go to the right side, and then look, you pull the thread, and then you get that flat lock effect, the flat, more of like cover stitch effect. This is a flat lock stitch. So this is so cool. It's a little bit like magic. So I wanted to show you how I do this stitch if you don't know already. So before we jump in, my apologies if I am a little sweaty. The weather is so hot. This time last year, I was looking back in photos, I was still wearing jeans, and now there's no way I could possibly wear jeans. It is so hot. And last week I went to turn on my air conditioning, and it doesn't work. Like, it won't blow cold air. It's just blowing basically like a fan. So I'm waiting for the repair guy to come. I guess he's super busy because probably everyone is having the same problem. So I am without air conditioning, and I am trying to stay cool, and I'm really sweaty, especially when sewing with the iron and all the things. So anyways, just a little disclaimer there. So I'm going to prepare my little sample of fabric and meet you at the serger, and I'll show you how we set up our sergers for this really, really easy technique. Okay, so here we are at my serger. We're ready to set up the machine to do the flat lock stitch. So just kind of do a quick overview. Here I have my lower looper, my upper looper, my right needle, and then my left needle. So to do the flat lock stitch, we're going to leave our upper looper and our lower looper the same as we always do. So no need to do anything with the loopers. The only thing that we're going to change as far as our threads go are, you want to make sure that your serger is threaded for the left needle only. So if you have your serger set using both your right and your left needle, you'll just want to remove the right needle and remove the right needle thread. So we're just going to only be using our left-hand side needle. Sometimes, for example, I'll be sewing using my right needle just for a basic like 3-thread overlock stitch, uses my right needle. So in that case, I would just need to switch my needle from the right side to the left side. And to do that, I just take my little screwdriver tool that comes with my serger, and I just undo. So I have really clear markings on mine. The left needle corresponds to that little screw. the right needle corresponds to that little screw. So all I would do is just unscrew the right hand side screw, for that needle, and then switch the position to the left hand side. So mine is already set in the left hand side needle, so I am all set to go. So you just want to make sure that your needle is all set for the left side needle. And then of course you want to just make sure that you also have your serger threaded for that left hand side. So really pretty simple setup there. So then there's two other quick adjustments that we're going to make to get this set up. So we are going to obviously, like we said, leave our upper and lower loopers the same. But when it comes to my left-hand side needle tension, I'm going to drop the tension no matter where it was starting from. I'm going to drop it all the way down to 0. So we're effectively leaving our left-hand side needle tension without any tension. Just set it for 0. And the final thing that we need to do to set up our serger is we need to disengage our blade. And this is an optional step, but it does make the flatlock stitch when we're using it for hemming just a bit easier. So for my serger, when I open up the bottom casing here, I did just clean it. So it's not normally this clean, but it is quite clean, I'm noticing. So my blade is right here on this little fold out section, and all I have to do to disengage my blade is I just push in this little thing and then I drop down the blade. I just kind of hide it there. So that's how I disengage mine. Yours may be as simple, yours may be even simpler with just like a knob that you can turn, but that's the final step for the setup of our flatlock stitch. Now that we have our serger all set and ready to go with our flatlock, I recommend definitely using a small sample, a small scrap to start, just to test the stitch before you do it on your final garment. But let's review the technique for how we're going to fold our sample and our final version of the hem to use the flatlock. So the first thing you want to do is you want to fold up your hem. So normally when I'm doing the flatlock, I'm folding up about an inch hem. It really just depends on where you want that flatlock stitch to be. I've done them a little bit more narrow before, and the only thing is the proportions are a little off. It's just a matter really of preference of how wide you want your hem, but I usually do like an inch hem or so. It also depends on how much hem you want with your t-shirt, how much is included with your pattern. So just kind of double check those things, but it can be a little creative. No real right or wrong answer here. So first you just want to fold up your hem to the wrong side. So let's pretend this is the wrong side of my fabric. So just fold up your hem, and you can definitely press this if you'd like. It will help a little bit if you do press this just to kind of keep everything in place. And now here's the trick. So we folded up our hem. Now I'm going to take my little pincher fingers, and I'm just going to pinch my fabric, working, obviously this is the wrong side of my knit, and I just pinch it right at that hem, and then I fold it again. So I've just kind of folded it back right at the cut edge where I've folded up my hem. And we're going to serge right along this edge. So let's do it one more time. I'll just kind of do it all in one swoop. So we fold up our hem. You can definitely press this, and then just take our pinchers and pinch it, and then just kind of fold it over. And so when you have a whole t-shirt hem, what I would do is I would either use clips to clip this in place and just kind of work through the t-shirt, or you can pin this in place in a couple places. Obviously, pressing the hem definitely will help as well. But in this case, I'm just going to kind of wing it as we're doing a small sample. So let me just pull my serger back over here. Okay, so my serger's all set up as we did it before. I've got 0 tension in my left needle. So what I'm going to do, I just have my little piece of fabric. So in this case, I have the cut edge facing up. So I'm working in this, you can see the fold that I made is facing up, I've done it both ways. It really doesn't matter, but I just kind of like to be able to see the cut edge and how everything's lining up. So that's how I do it. So I lift my presser foot. My needle is already up, but you just want to make sure your needle is up so you can literally slide this whole thing under your presser foot. And I just slide it under until I'm lining up this cut and folded edge to where my blade would normally be. So I have like a little marker there where I can see, okay, that's normally where I would line up my fabric so that it would kind of go right along the blade. And that's where I want to place it. And then I place my presser foot down. And now I moved my serger into the light. So let me grab my pedal. Okay, got my pedal, and now we're just going to serge. Oops. And I'm just going to serge right along where my cut and my fold kind of line up there. Let me just go in a tiny bit closer there. And then when I'm doing this in a round with a t-shirt, obviously you're going to then come to the full circle where your two pieces meet. And how you want to serge off is you want to lift your presser foot, keep your needle down, and then just pivot your project perpendicular and serge off that way. And that will give you a nice clean overlap when you do this in a full circle. So that's how I like to end the flat lock. So this is what I've got from the side that I serged up. Got our upper looper. And then this is what it's looking like from the back. So ever so slightly wonky there with the needle tension being obviously a bit out of balance, but that's intentional. So then what we're going to do is go to the right side of our garment. And this is the really fun, satisfying part, is then we just go and pull. Because we have our needle tension so loose, we can then just pull this and get the flat lock effect. So I just kind of try to pull this evenly so that it has a nice uniform look. And voila, we've got our flat lock stitch. I love that it stretches. And then let's look at the back side. Got a nearly flat back. Nearly flat. Like you can really play with it. You could also press it and get it really, really flat. So it's really like a kind of a cover stitch alternative, let's say. If you don't have a cover stitch like I don't have, this gives you a really similar effect, a nice, neat, clean finish, a nice stretchy hem. And so it's great if you're sewing for your kids or you're sewing your own t-shirts. You can get this really cool decorative effect, but it's also super practical. So that's our flat lock stitch. Let me know below, what do you think of this stitch? Are you excited to try it? Do you have any questions? And before I let you go, I just want to share one quick tip for sewing with knits. I do have a full video where I talk about like all things knits, which I'll drop the link below too. I also have a full Serger course that we do the flat lock stitch, we do solving tension issues, all the stitches, all the things Serger. So I'll drop the link to that below as well if you want to dive in more to either your Serger or sewing with knits. But my favorite tip for sewing with knits, if you get a knit that rolls, like this white was actually a piece that I got from a street vendor here, and the quality wasn't so good. Because it just literally rolls. I mean, this piece is this wide, but it rolls up to practically nothing. So it was a little bit fidgety on this t-shirt, but what I do when I have a knit like that is I take spray starch and I buy this. It's in my local grocery store where you buy your laundry detergent. So I think it's pretty readily available, spray starch. And what I'll do is I'll spray from the cut edge like a good 4 or 5 inches around that hem area, all the way around the bottom of the hem. And then, so spray a generous amount of spray starch and then iron over it. And in general, that gives it enough stability that it will prevent the rolling from happening. And it gives you enough stability to then fold up your hem, do a little pinch thing, and get a good, clean, smooth flat lock. And I use that everywhere, even on the neck bands, to get it a little bit firmer, so it's not as fidgety when you go to serge a neckband, or really any of the cut edges. If you've got a rolling knit, the spray starch is a saver. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for letting me share my favorite way to hem knits. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.